Hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today I want to check out the newest stance for Polearms Twirling Spire, which is described as having a mix of sweeping attacks with precise strikes, and it comes with a dash polarity, so it matches the Orthos and the Zero. So let's check it out, shall we? So the first combo is called Cresting Kick, and this is your standard button mash combo. It consists of 3 separate attacks, the first one being a stab that staggers enemies with an impact proc, the second one is a wide sweeping attack that will hit all enemies in front of you, and the final third one is a slam that will knock enemies down. And if you manage to aim it properly, you can actually hit a headshot before you slam the weapon into the ground. This combo is absolutely fantastic for crowd control because if you have a little bit of attack speed, you can cycle through the attacks incredibly fast and you can just slam over and over and over again. Though one really weird thing about this combo, and you've probably noticed that already, is how it slams the weapon into the ground. For whatever reason, your Warframe just brain farts mid-swing, turns the weapon around and then plops it on the ground. It looks really awkward. And I know I'm nitpicking, right? But it would have looked far cooler if they just let the animation finish and slam it into the ground that way. The second combo is called Spiraling Pinnacle, and this is your block combo. So to execute this one, you will have to hold the block button while mashing the melee button. And it starts off once again with a quick jab that will stagger enemies with an impact proc, which is followed up by a nice wide sweeping attack that will hit all enemies in front of you. This is followed up by 2 separate sweeping attacks that also hit enemies in front of you but also stagger them with an impact proc, and it ends with a multi-strike that I'm not actually sure how many times it hits because it also knocks enemies off their feet, so it's kind of hard to see how many times you actually hit them. This is the attack I'm talking about. You started off by spinning the polearm above your head, which is followed up by a nice sweeping attack that hits all enemies in front of you and knocks them off their feet. You will then start turning around, hitting all enemies around you, and you will finish it off by thrusting the polearm forward. This is a really nice combo, especially because it allows you to sprint while you're performing it. The third combo is called Summit Plunge, and to execute this one, you have to tap backwards with the second attack. And I would really recommend you try and nail down the timing on the tap, because if you hold it even for a little bit too long, like I'm doing over here, you will actually start shimmying backwards, which is not the best thing to do if you're pulling off a melee combo. Also, if you're learning this combo and it feels awkward, it's because it is. But anyway, it starts off once again with a quick jab forward that will stagger the enemy with an impact proc. You will then do a pretty cool looking double strike. The first one is a downward hit that likes to hit headshots, and the second one is kind of an uppercut. This will also stagger enemies. You will then do the weirdest attack I've seen in a combo yet, where the polearm starts in your left hand, flies through your Warframe into your right hand, and hits all enemies in front of you. And this is only the first part of a double strike. The second part comes right here, where you will spin around and hit all enemies around you. You will then do a quick stab forward, which will stagger enemies, and it's not too dissimilar from the stab you do in the beginning, and you finish it off with a double strike, a nice cleaving double strike. There is hit number 1, and there is hit number 2 right there. I never really understood combos that require you to tap or hold backwards to execute them, because surely you want to be moving towards the enemy rather than away from them when using a melee weapon. The combo is also a mixed bag when it comes to animations. There are some really good ones, like the ones you can see on this screen right now, but then there is the whole flying through your Warframe to switch hands thing. It feels like this combo could have stayed in the oven for a little bit longer. And the fourth and final combo is called Vaulting Apex, and this one is really easy to do. Just hold forward while mashing the melee button, and this is easily my favorite combo from the stance. So we start off once again with a quick stab forward that will stagger the enemies with an impact proc, which is followed up by a nice wide sweeping attack that will hit all enemies in front of you. You will then perform a double strike that procs slash on both hits, and they are both stabs. So here's the first one. Jab right there, and you will then adjust, spin the polearm around, and do it on the other side as well. It looks really cool. Then there is a bit of a jumpy transition that you saw right there into another double strike, where the first hit will hit all enemies around you and the second hit hits everything in front and to the right of you. Then comes this massive backhand strike, which hits everything in front and to the right of you and will stagger them with an impact proc. And finally, we have this amazing jump forwards, which ends in a slam. Now this right here is why I said the previous combo maybe needed a little bit more time in the oven, because over here you can see the Warframe switch the polearm from the left hand to the right hand mid-swing, and it looks really good. Yet in the previous combo, the polearm just flies through your Warframe. And then of course there's this, which has to be one of the, if not the coolest move I've seen in a stance yet. Kaboom! Oh my god, that looks so good, does it not? And I almost forgot, this combo also allows you to sprint while you're performing it, which makes it even better. Now, the secondary attacks are the same as they are on other stances, however, the quick attack has been changed. It's now the first 2 hits of the button mash combo, so the quick stab forward and then the sweeping strike that hits everything in front of you. Now, you can get this stance in 3 different ways. You can either get it as a reward from the level 40 to 60 bounty. It drops from the Recon Commander with a 0.02% drop chance, and it's transmutable. Unlike the other polearm stances, which focus on cleaving down large groups of enemies, this one focuses more on single target, and as a result has far higher single target damage than the other 2. It's also amazing when it comes to crowd control, because almost every attack in the stance will either stagger or knock the enemy down. However, the stance feels really slow. It needs a lot of attack speed before it starts feeling good. And even then, it doesn't feel as fluid as some of the newer stances. It's a cool stance, don't get me wrong, and it's really nice to have a single target focused stance for those of us who really like polearms. It just feels a little bit rushed here and there, and I think it could have used a little bit more polish, to be honest. I'm personally gonna stick to the older stances, mainly because I just really like the quick attack on them. And that's pretty much it for the video, so I thank you very much for watching, as always, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.